And there was this book that I looked up called It's Okay, You're Not Okay, which just seemed to perfectly encapsulate what I wanted in that moment at that point in time. At 1:45 in the morning, for someone to just tell me it's okay. It's okay, you're not okay.
It came across my feeds about an episode of the Joe Budden podcast that happened. I don't know if it was recent or a while ago, where Marc Lamont Hill basically in a dismissive, throwaway type of way mentioned that he was battling depression.
On night school, they said you just guzzling the Red Bulls.
I'd be so tired. I'd be so tired right before I do night school that I do like a Red Bull and then I struggle to get to sleep. I've been dealing with depression too, so I've been trying to manage that. And so then I do a lot of over exercise and things like that to calm myself, and then that makes me super tired.
Does your wife do Red Bull too?
No, she won't touch the stuff.
Is she not on top of you about the Red Bull?
She
You
tells me
seem
to
too
stop.
wise.
Wait, I
you
hide it
seem
under the
too
desk.
wise to do Red Bull the way that
We just skipped over
You
depression.
said you deal with depression?
Yeah, like we just
It's
skipped
Joe
over.
Budden Podcast. The Red Bull's way more interesting.
I didn't hear him say depression.
He did. He said I deal with depression.
Yeah.
And it made me think, because that conversation was a very fascinating one that needs to be unpacked.
Mm-hmm.
I know that earlier during the month when we started talking about men's mental health awareness and the fact that men are 3 times more likely than their female counterparts to commit suicide. Black men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than their white counterparts. Black boys in particular are damn near 5 times more likely than their white counterparts to commit suicide as well. And I posted this on my personal page, and it was fascinating to me to see the people that came in and didn't address the issue, but talked about the issues outside of the primary issue. There were people that came into the conversation and said, essentially tried to lecture men about not making women the bad guys in the formula. And that's one of the reasons why they're feeling the way they're feeling, and, you know, that they need to let go of this, that, and the other. Then there were people that came in there and said that it was the women that were causing this issue. Mind you, at the same time, I said black men. I said men, and then I said black men. I didn't say married black men, and I made sure to specify about boys.
Mm-hmm.
Gay black men are also in that black men category as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of unmarried black men that still suffer depression and mental anguish and anxiety. And I think part of the dilemma that we're facing right now is the fact that we don't know how to completely compartmentalize some of these online battles that we have to say that we need to address a particular issue. Or let me take it a step further, to say that we care enough about black men to compartmentalize those things.
I think
to
you've been
address
really
the
nice.
need, to address the needs that are causing our brothers to think that they're at a rate that is 3 times more likely than their white counterparts to say they need to take the ultimate way out.
I stand on this here lately. The world as a whole does not give a flying, hot, steaming fuck about black men. We are not the priority when it comes to ensuring that our humanity is addressed, that we are validated, reassured, that we are cared for, that we're loved and supported in the way that we are pushed.
Say that again, your volume dropped out.
My bad. We are not loved, cared for, supported, validated in the capacity that we need to be as ones who are viewed as the solution to all of our problems across the diaspora. Like, I am in a position where my anger about this does not come across or come into as me hating others because they have this viewpoint. Like, I'm not turning into some red pill dude, some incel motherfucker who, you know what I mean, is angry about it. No, it's just the reality of the world. That
Elgin, can I add on to that real quick, and I'm gonna let you keep cooking? I think the fact that just the mere notion of saying that we as men, as black men, face this type of trauma, face this type of anguish, anxiety, and depression, many people interpret that immediately as some sort of red pill shit. And it keeps a lot of us from even saying anything at all.
Yeah. I struggle as someone who I believe has above average emotional intelligence, above average emotional maturity. I still struggle with opening up and sharing where I am mentally and emotionally with those who I know care for me. Like, that's still a battle for me to acknowledge when I have a need. Like, if I telling somebody, yo, I'm feeling lonely, or I'm unsure of how to communicate this, or I'm feeling really anxious, or the one that I've really been battling with the most here lately, I am afraid. Like, it's not this is not a world that cultivates a space for black men to say they're afraid. And I remove myself from the conversation when my lovely sisters come in and say shit like, well, you got to create a space. You got to carve out a space. You got to go to therapy. You just have to do this. And I'm like, yo, y'all don't understand that you are doing a type of victim shaming and blaming by saying that. Because if I say the same thing to y'all, the first thing that you guys are going to say is, you don't hear me.
And that's why Mr. Hill is so dismissive about his own depression, because we are already conditioned to not even value our own emotions.
Yeah.
All right. We literally decentralize our own emotional well-being and put it in a nice little box because that's easier for everybody else.
Yeah.
And most of us don't even realize when they are depressed,
and they have no value, less than they're Spotify royalties.
Yes. Yeah. I tell people all the time, and I tell my young black male students in school, the world views you as having 3 emotions and 3 emotions only. Them 3 emotions are angry, horny, and okay. You don't get to be sad. You don't get to be afraid. You don't get to be uncertain or unaware. You always have to have it figured out. And that's a struggle as a single black dad of 4 daughters, that I'm constantly combating that with them to make sure that they don't fall into that mindset of seeing dad as Superman, like the dude that always has to have it together. That I tell them, nah, man, dad don't want to do that. Dad's tired. Dad is afraid right now. Dad is feeling challenged. Dad is disappointed. And phrasing it in such a way that they understand that my fear, my anger, my disappointment, my anxiety is not a result of who they are. It's a result of a combination of things that are fueling that. But getting them to understand that is, like, I am really being honest and transparent that I, for the most part, man, navigate the world as a black man, keeping that shit to myself and sharing it with a select few because it is not safe for me to do so, because I got to do too much work in explaining to you why I feel this way. I got to have the piece to the puzzle. I got to know why I feel that way. And I also got to know the damn solution to get me out of that damn space. So what the hell do I need you for?
Afterwards. You're my
what
guy.
do I need to talk to you for if I got both of those?
Yeah.
And nobody, I feel like nobody understands that. And I say it all the time to my sisters and my partner. I'm like, yo, I hear y'all when y'all say it is hard being black women. I recognize, empathize, and doing all the work internally to make sure that I am a safe place for you. But y'all motherfuckers are not doing the same for us.
No. And one of the things, and it's to go back to what Krush was saying about Marc Lamont Hill and how he was dismissive of even talking about it, because he really kind of said it conversationally, like very throwaway.
It was kind of flippant. Yeah,
He assumed it wasn't important to anybody.
Yeah, it was. And to be honest with you,
he assumed that it wasn't important.
At the same time, he was proven right in many regards, because there's a segment or a portion of that conversation where Joe basically says he didn't even hear him say that he had depression.
Which is phenomenal with somebody who has expressed their own mental health concerns and battled their own mental health challenges that they are not able to hear somebody. Woo!
Over four mixtapes.
Facts.
Yeah.
And then then some of the other guests on the show basically called Lamont back. Basically was like, yo, we like to tap in. Like, nigga, did you just say you had depression? Like, what's going on? At that point in
time, I checked out. The moment that you no longer hear me, I'm going.
My God. And he tried to push past. He explained it, and it comes back down, and it comes back down to John Henryism. He breaks it down and said, I've got so many people relying on me. And he starts breaking down some of the things that he's facing.
I got a stupid question for you.
Yeah.
What the hell are you depressed about, man?
Joe, you know it's not mental health doesn't work like that.
Well,
unless he wants to.
That's true.
No, I mean, the short answer is that I have to take care of a lot of people.
Day in the life of a black man.
And that creates emotional toll, financial toll.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's just having to, all that shit, and my own health, right? So all those things combine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like my wife's mother's sick. My mother she's not sick, but she's just needs a lot of care because she's blind. I got brother got to take care of who's locked up. I got his son who's not locked up, who I got to care for because he's 13 and black and outside. You know what I'm saying? And a good kid, but just a lot of that. I got my own.
Your brother's gonna be locked up for how much longer?
He'll be home in a year and a half. Okay. He'll be home in a year and a half.
All right, fans.
And
nobody understands.
For those of you that don't know, John Henryism is that black man's plight, that trying to be everything to everybody, and the fear that not being able to be everything to everybody will, one, either cause those people not to rely on you, or two, see it as a weakness that you don't have the ability to do the things.
And knowing the ultimate outcome. Knowing the ultimate outcome is defeat.
So here we have Marc Lamont Hill going through this and breaking this down, and then Joe, being Joe, says, nigga, what do you have to be depressed about?
Yeah, you have all of this stuff.
You have all of the things. What do you have to be depressed about?
Yeah.
Which then causes another way for us, community, black men in particular, amongst our own black men, to be dismissive of our brother's feelings. I know I have, and I've had this conversation with you guys before about my son and his challenges, and I have to catch myself not to get into that mode to say, what do you, as a kid, my kid, that I provide for, that I fight for, what does he have to be depressed about? And honestly, it wasn't until I sat down with him and expressed with him, shared with him the challenges that I have had, that it broke that wall for me to see him and say, I can't jump to that conclusion. I gotta be more empathetic. I gotta be more sympathetic. I gotta recognize that I'm building the foundation for him to be able to do something going forward. And it's a hard conversation, bro. It's a hard conversation, especially based on like what Elle was already saying, that we have so many layers between us and comfort, and having to fight through those layers to get to peace. I already gave you the statistics of the number of us that don't make it. It's a hard balance. Many of us don't feel like going through all those layers, bro.
There's not too many spaces that I know where, excuse me, black men specifically are able to be transparent and vulnerable. Everybody wants black men to be open, transparent, and vulnerable, and to communicate what they are. But nobody talks about the other side of that coin when we do it, man. It is not a welcoming place of open arms to come and give me a hug. It's like it's a damn, you weak all of a sudden?
Yeah, when did you get soft?
When did you get soft? Like, when did you begin to be this weak dude now? You've been able to overcome all of these things.
What has happened? You definitely become a curiosity. Become a curiosity. You're like, where could that possibly come from? I saw you deal with this. I saw you deal with that. Yeah, but you didn't see what I looked like the next day, motherfucker.
My God. Let me run
what? That part. You didn't see what I looked like the next day.
You saw me get hit. Let me
run you through a scenario, bro. Let me run you through another scenario, but through a short story. There's another YouTuber that I follow. I won't really say follow, but I watch his videos when they pop up. His name is Comics Explained. It's a young black guy that just talks about comics, right? And there's another YouTuber that he was personal friends with that passed away. This young man, his friend, died tragically in a terrible, terrible car accident.
Oh, geez. Okay.
This dude, Comics Explained, was one of the people that had to go looking for his friend. He was talking to his friend's wife, his mother, and his siblings, and they went out on a search for this young man because apparently he was supposed to just go get some food and come back. Something that was supposed to take 20 minutes. Hours had passed and no one had heard from him and so on. Unfortunately, this young man, Comics Explained, he's the one that found his friend's body, found the police at the scene. He's the one that ended up having to call his wife to tell him, I found your husband. Jeez. And that is not good. He's the one that ended up telling his friend's parents, hey, this is what happened to your child. And for quite some time, he'd been dealing with the trauma of not only losing the friend, finding the friend in that situation, having to deliver such news. And he said he did not have anyone to talk to.
Anyone.
About the trauma he was going through. Like it was eating him from the inside out.
A couple of days after Benny passed away, I had a session with my therapist and told her everything that went on, everything that had happened, when Benny passed away. And I remember distinctly she told me, she said, you need to tell your story to people because if you don't, it's going to eat you alive. And it surely has. Over the last year, I have struggled with insanely high levels of anxiety, borderline depression. It's easier to say I have not been okay. But there was this point at like 1:45 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. The Airbnb was like three blocks away from the beach. So I walk over and I'm sitting on just this bench, right, listening to the waves go back and forth. And I just start looking up books on grief. And there was this book that I looked up called It's Okay, You're Not Okay, which just seemed to perfectly encapsulate what I wanted in that moment at that point in time. At 1:45 in the morning, for someone to just tell me it's okay. It's okay, you're not okay.
Inside out.
Yep.
To the point in his personal life, he didn't have anyone.
Yeah.
That his therapist said, you as a YouTube creator, the only way you're going to be able to heal is to talk to people, even if it means talking to your fans, people that you don't know, that you don't have any connection to, because there was a fear if he shared that information with others that they would judge him a certain way.
Yep.
And that thing hit me hard, bro.
Yeah.
That he had been over a year, had been battling with that for a minute. Like he said he couldn't get out of bed. He couldn't get up in the morning. He found himself getting distance from other relationships because this thing was eating him.
And it's easy to
share with anybody.
Yep.
I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you, bro. And I think ultimately when we have these conversations, when we bring up these type of topics, my number one thing is to try and find a solution. But I don't know what the solution is, bro.
It's a journey, man. And we're on it. And it's a longer one than we thought. That's all. Especially for men. Especially for the modern man. This will be a very long journey.
I don't think there is a solution. And I think this is one of those situations where a solution is needed and warranted. But I think it is such a complex equation and with so many layers and variables and factors and changing climates and all the things where a solution is never going to be there, which is incredibly challenging because that doesn't provide a level of hope for us to get to a place where we no longer have to battle in this capacity. And I don't know. I don't know. I am one who tends to want to talk about the challenging things and have the conversations. And now, but I'm at a point also in my life where I don't have the capacity to have the challenging conversations where I know it's not going to be a needed result for change. So it's like, I got other shit I can be focused on. I'll keep swallowing this shit the way I've been swallowing it and navigate through life the way I've been navigating and move forward but here's where I get that I know me, that anybody can come to me and share their trauma, their issues, what they're going through. I am a walking availability to help you navigate. I will give you guidance, advice, wisdom, let you vent, put a foot in your ass, whatever you may need. I will make myself available to you. I won't do that with everybody else, though. If you come to me and you share that and you share something vulnerable and you share something that is really, depending on who you are, I may look at that as you are too weak to carry what I'm dealing with and what I am going through, and I will never share with your ass. I will never open up. I will never make myself vulnerable, but I will make myself available for you. But it's like, and I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if it's natural, but it's something that I am aware of. And oftentimes when I get to that place with a person, that relationship begins to dissolve. It begins to, I no longer see any real value in it for me because now it's just one-sided and you're not able to, you don't have the capacity to offer me what I need in that moment. And I'm never coming for anybody asking them to change my circumstances and situations. Sometimes I'm just asking the motherfucker to listen and give me, or pick up on the cues, the cues that I'm showing you. Like if I'm always jovial and all of a sudden I'm not jovial, that's a motherfucking cue to say, my guy, you okay? If I'm missing in action for a little bit, it's like, yo, I don't see you. But if you can't pick up on the cues, but you want, it's bro, listen. I'm telling you, it's a monster out this motherfucker, baby.